North Korean hackers hide malware in the blockchain. Scattered lapses hunters dox hundreds of DHS, ICE, FBI, and DOJ officials. Microsoft warns China and Russia are weaponizing AI for cyber warfare, as if no one else is. And F5 confirmed they've been breached by a nation-state actor. Yes, it's another cyber attack Sunday.
Hooray!
Please like, follow, and share. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. I like feedback. Spanish police have dismantled the GXC team cybercrime syndicate, arresting its alleged leader, a 25-year-old Brazilian known as Google Xcoder, accused of selling phishing kits, Android malware, and AI-powered hacking tools. Cybercriminals are impersonating New York's Department of Taxation and Finance with text messages promising inflation refunds to steal personal and financial data from unsuspecting residents. A new Rust-based backdoor called Chaos Bot is exploiting compromised credentials to control infected computers via Discord channels, enabling hackers to run commands and steal sensitive data. Authorities in the US and France have once again taken the notorious breach forums offline, disrupting a major hub used by data thieves and extortion groups like Scattered Lapses hunters. But that didn't slow things down, as an extortion group has leaked millions of records stolen through Salesforce-related breaches, allegedly affecting major companies including Albertsons, Fujifilm, Gap, Qantas, and Vietnam Airlines. The Astaroth banking Trojan is leveraging GitHub repositories to host its malware infrastructure, helping it stay active and resilient even after traditional servers are taken offline. Microsoft has locked down the Internet Explorer, IE mode in its Edge browser, following reports that attackers abuse the feature and unpatched vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized system access. Researchers warn the RondoDox botnet is rapidly expanding, exploiting more than 50 vulnerabilities across routers, DVRs, web servers, and other connected devices from over 30 manufacturers. A new campaign distributing the Steal It info stealer is disguising its malware as VPN and gaming installer applications, tricking users into downloading data-stealing software. Harvard University is investigating a breach after the Clop ransomware gang claimed responsibility for stealing over 1 TB of data, likely through an Oracle e-Business Suite zero-day exploit. Oracle has since quietly patched the flaw following the public leak of a proof of concept by shiny hunters. Hackers abused the NPM open-source infrastructure to upload more than 175 malicious packages, targeting over 135 industrial and electronics companies, aiming to deliver phishing payloads through automated scripts. U.S. healthcare provider Simon Med Imaging has confirmed a ransomware attack by the Medusa Group that exposed sensitive information from 1.2 million patients and involved the theft of 200 GB of data. More than 100 SonicWall SSL VPN accounts across multiple organizations were compromised in a large-scale attack campaign that leveraged stolen, valid credentials for unauthorized network access. Malicious code injected into Unity's SpeedTree website collected payment and personal data from hundreds of users, prompting the company to remove the code and investigate the breach. Cybercriminals are exploiting remote management tools like Screen Connect to gain control of corporate networks, often using phishing emails to deploy malware and escalate privileges. Yes, Microsoft 365 had another outage. No, it wasn't due to an attack. A large-scale botnet involving over 100,000 IP addresses is targeting Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP services in the US, attempting brute force attacks to gain access to corporate networks. Researchers revealed that low-cost equipment can intercept unencrypted satellite transmissions, exposing personal communications, corporate data, and even US military information. Welcome to cybersecurity. Much is held together with bubblegum, and yes, we need more budget. New findings reveal that the emerging cybercrime group TA585 has developed a sophisticated attack infrastructure to distribute the Monster v2 malware, enhancing its phishing and evasion capabilities. Researchers have also uncovered multiple malicious packages across the NPM, Python, and Ruby ecosystems that steal developer credentials and transmit them via Discord webhooks, exploiting the platform's API for stealthy data exfiltration. A Chinese state-sponsored group known as Flax Typhoon, aka Ethereal Panda, secretly maintained access to a compromised ArcGIS server for over a year, turning a legitimate geomapping component into a persistent web shell for espionage. A new Android vulnerability dubbed picsnapping allows rogue apps with zero permissions to capture on-screen pixels, stealing sensitive information such as two-factor authentication codes and map data from Google and Samsung devices. Roughly 200,000 Framework Linux laptops were shipped with signed UEFI shell components that could allow attackers to bypass secure boot protections, posing a serious firmware security risk. The US and UK governments have dismantled one of the largest cryptocurrency fraud operations in history, seizing over $15 billion in Bitcoin from a Cambodian-based network accused of running large-scale romance and investment scams using forced labor. However, it seems the seizures may have happened in 2020 or 2024. A threat actor known as TigerJack is publishing malicious Visual Studio code extensions on both Microsoft's Marketplace and the OpenVSX registry, to steal cryptocurrency and plant backdoors on developer machines. UK outsourcing firm Capita has been fined $14 million by the Information Commissioner's Office after a 2023 data breach exposed sensitive personal data belonging to 6.6 million individuals. A critical vulnerability, CVE 2025-2611, in ICT broadcast autodialer software is being actively exploited, allowing attackers to execute code remotely without authentication and gain control of affected servers. U.S. cybersecurity firm F5 disclosed that a nation-state actor, likely linked to China, breached its systems, stealing big IP source code and details of undisclosed vulnerabilities. The company has since issued patches amid global government warnings and reports of 266,000 exposed systems. Customer service company 5CA has denied responsibility for a recent Discord data breach after the platform named it as the third-party vendor involved, claiming its own systems were not compromised. Spanish fashion retailer Mango disclosed a data breach caused by a compromised marketing vendor, exposing customer personal information and prompting notification emails to affected users. A Chinese-linked group dubbed Jewelbug infiltrated a Russian IT service provider for 5 months, expanding its espionage operations beyond Asia by maintaining persistent, covert access to internal systems. Hackers are sending fake breach emails impersonating LastPass and Bitwarden, tricking users into downloading malware disguised as secure desktop updates to hijack their devices. Matthew D. Lane, a 19-year-old Massachusetts student, has been sentenced to 4 years in prison after pleading guilty to hacking PowerSchool in 2024 and extorting companies with stolen data. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, added a critical Adobe Experience Manager vulnerability, CVE 2025-54253, with a perfect 10.0 CVSS score to its exploited list, urging immediate patching amid ongoing attacks. Threat actors are exploiting a recently disclosed Cisco SNMP vulnerability, CVE 2025-2352, to deploy Linux rootkits on older routers and switches, gaining stealthy long-term control in Operation Zero Disco. Researchers uncovered a stealthy Linux rootkit dubbed Link Pro that uses eBPF modules to hide processes and activate remotely through magic TCP packets, targeting cloud systems hosted on AWS. Microsoft reported a massive rise in AI-assisted cyber attacks as its systems process over 100 trillion security signals daily, reflecting a new era of automated, intelligent threat activity. State-sponsored hackers from North Korea have adopted a technique called ether hiding, embedding malicious code in blockchain smart contracts to distribute malware, steal cryptocurrency, and conduct espionage through compromised WordPress sites. Microsoft has revoked over 200 fraudulent code signing certificates used by the ransomware group Vanilla Tempest, aka Vice Society, to disguise malicious Teams installers and deploy the risks of ransomware. Gladnet has fixed an actively exploited zero-day vulnerability, CVE 2025-11371, in its Center Stack business solution that allowed unauthenticated attackers to execute remote code via a file inclusion and view state deserialization flaw. Financial services company Prosper suffered a massive breach exposing personal and government identification details of 17.6 million users, including social security numbers and dates of birth. Global auction house Sotheby's has disclosed a data breach that exposed sensitive customer information, including financial and government ID details, following unauthorized access to its systems. A new PayPal-themed phishing campaign is sending fake invoices from legitimate PayPal domains to trick users into entering sensitive financial information under the guise of disputed purchases. The Scattered Lapsus Hunters group has leaked the personal data of hundreds of officials from DHS, ICE, FBI, and DOJ, including nearly 700 DHS employees, marking one of the most significant government doxing incidents in recent years. North Korea-linked hackers have combined their Beavertail and OtterCookie malware tools into a more sophisticated JavaScript-based espionage framework, enhancing their capabilities for data theft and persistence. Microsoft warns that Russia and China are increasingly weaponizing artificial intelligence to enhance cyber operations against U.S. companies, government agencies, and critical infrastructure, as if no one else is. Dutch authorities have arrested 3 teenagers suspected of assisting a Russian-affiliated hacking group, alleging they aided in espionage activities targeting European systems. Europol dismantled a SimBox operation called Sim Cartel that enabled more than 3,200 cyber fraud cases across Europe, causing losses exceeding $4.5 million through illegal number rentals. Envoy Air, a regional airline under American Airlines, confirmed that data was stolen from its Oracle e-business suite systems after the Clop ransomware gang listed the airline in a data leak. Threat actors behind the Winos 4.0 Valley Rat malware have extended operations from China and Taiwan to Japan and Malaysia, using phishing emails with malicious PDFs to deploy the new Holding Hands remote access Trojan. A new malware strain known as CAPI backdoor is being distributed through phishing zip files to infiltrate Russian automotive and e-commerce companies, giving attackers remote access and control. A widespread campaign is targeting macOS developers with fake websites for Homebrew, Logmein, and TradingView, using malicious Google Ads to spread information-stealing malware like Amos and Odyssey. Did I miss anything? Did anything surprise you? Thanks for sticking it out to the end. Full articles and all sources available on Substack. Let me know your thoughts.